In the morning of Rosh Hashanah, a new light emerges from God, from God's wisdom, and illuminates and enlivens all of the cosmos. A new light that has never been here before, giving us new insight, new inspiration, new life, new energy for the coming year. The question is, what exactly is the message? What exactly is the receptacle that we can take in order to catch this energy and inspire us and inspire others from the first moment of Rosh Hashanah? So the first thing you need to know is that Rosh Hashanah is coming out on Tuesday, which is the third day of the week. The third day of the week in the story of Genesis is the day that God said, "It is good," twice. And God saw that it was good twice on the third day, because the second day's work hadn't been completed until the third day. The third day's work was also completed. So for both completions, God said, and it is good. When you have a day where there's double good, the general idea behind it is that it's good for man and good for God. Tev LaShamayim and Tev LaBriyas, good for heaven, good for creatures. And so, the first focus of this year is that since it's coming on a Tuesday, we have to excel in our own personal growth, together with our commitment for the growth and the well-being of the community. Another interesting facet of this year is that this year is coming after a Shemitah, or sabbatical year. Shemitah was the year in which the land could not be worked, and all the fruits of the land had to be shared with all of Israel. It was the concept of a collective. There was no individual ownership on the land. The land belongs to God, and we all are sharers in that bounty. Starting from Rosh Hashanah, we begin a new cycle. It is the first of the 7-year cycles. So, it is a return to individualism. Rugged American individualism. The success of the individual who charts out new territories, here is yet to be found. And even though it's a new beginning, a beginning of individualism, the beginning of the 7-year cycle required that we would meet together with the king in Jerusalem on the holiday of Sukkot, and immediately come together and announce our commitment to the fulfillment of the Torah. For coming from a sabbatical year where we were very laid back, everybody was the same, we're now going into individualism. We have to reaffirm that even while we were to pursue our own individual goals, we would never lose sight of the fact that we were one unit, one Klal Yisrael, one people together with one God and one Torah. And the individual who articulated that was the one man who was the heart of Israel. He was the king. And so, this is called the year of Hakil, the year of ingathering, that even though we begin our individualism, our trek for individual perfection, nonetheless, we will at the same time remind ourselves of our commitment and connection to other people. And this is the message of Hakil, that we are not just separated individuals going on an uncharted sea, but we are individuals going together across the sea as a unit and as a people. But in order to be successful, each one of us must do whatever we can to develop our identity, to develop our understanding, our ideas, our emotions, even while we reach out across the table to others who may not agree with us. And so, this is a year of Hakel. This is a year of individuality, even while we reaffirm our unity. And that's the whole message of Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is a time when individualism blends into one. We all stand before God equally, and yet even while we stand before God equally, there are still differences. There are still distinctions between the heads and the wood choppers. Because on Rosh Hashanah, the individual becomes part of the unit. The individual does not lose his individuality. And that is expressed in the fact that it's coming on the third day of the week, which is an odd day, which represents individualism, even while the third day of the week completes the second day's work, which is the idea that the individual completes and is unified with the other 2 days, with the other people in his or her life. And this is also happening at a time of Hakel, where we reach out and declare that we are part of a cloud, part of the community of God. And we're all excited about that. We're all enthusiastic about that. We are enthusiastic about being together and being one, even while we pursue our own personal excellence. And so the theme is personal excellence, even while we pursue the unit of Klal Yisrael. The difference between personal excellence and general unity with the Klal is the difference between Torah and mitzvahs. In Torah, in the study of Torah, there are differences. You may understand the Torah a lot better than I. And therefore, even when we read the same things, you may see different things there that I will never see. And you may pick up things quicker than I will pick up. And you may see things broader, in a broader fashion, and see the applications of how it applies in a different way, and see new insights and become inspired in a totally different way than I. For the Torah is meant to be studied with one's intellectual faculties, and no two people have the same intellect. No two people have the same insights and experiences. We all are different. We are the same, however, with regards to the commandments. The same pair of tefillin that I put on, you must put on. And the same tzitzis that I wear, you must wear. Of course, there are different levels of hidur, of beautifying the mitzvahs, but in general, the mitzvahs are the same. Because the mitzvahs relate to the part of the soul where we are one, and the Torah relates to the part of the soul where we're divided. And this idea of rugged individualism, even while we are committed to the klal, to the community, is essentially an experience that is found also in the world at large. And we Jews are affected by what goes on in the world at large. In the world at large, they're going to be electing a new president to lead this country. A country famed for its rugged individualism, even while it takes responsibility for the weakest amongst us, even while it cares for the peoples of the world. And so, on this Rosh Hashanah, which exemplifies the power and the need for growth of the individual, at the same time, the individual must make the extension to others across the aisle, to others who disagree with him, that we are really part of one people, and ultimately we are all children of one God, that all the nations of the world, together with Israel, are really children of the same God, and as such, all of us must have the basic necessities necessary for us to grow as individuals. In a practical sense, since this is a time when there has to be a stress on the individual, even while the individual reaches out and is unified with others, the practical way of doing so would be that since Torah is the one element of rugged individualism, and since sharing what we have and we hold precious with others represents our unity with the klal, with the community, so my suggestion is that we should study some element of Torah that we have never studied before, and in the process do so with others.